Hari Om. Welcome to Mana TV International's Yoga, the Union, our meditation series. I'm so glad you're participating in this, and I hope you find that your meditation gets really regular for you and you fall in love with it as you notice how it's just making your life work so much better. Now, we are going to take a few moments to breathe and get centered and settled. Clear the sits bones, move the shoulders, move the head, neck, and jaw, shake the arms, wrists, and fingers. Twist to the right, twist to the left. And then get comfortably settled, upright, the chest is lifted, the crown of the head is nice and high, and the lower back is released and soft. But you don't collapse this beautiful posture that you've just shaped. A few nice breaths as you continue with a few more breaths. Let the mind become more centered, the body relax throughout. And now, listen and see how long you can hear this. As you listen to it, let it draw your attention inward, becoming even more centered. Please take in a breath and join me chanting Om. Raise the pitch some. And the lower pitch again. We've been working with focus upon the breathing, so do that. Breathe a little deeply, pause for a moment, exhale a little slower, again pause for a moment, and see what this feels like. Pay attention to the breath. Give that all of your attention. What does it feel like as it moves inward? Is there a pattern to it? A temperature to it? And as you exhale, what does it feel like? Is there a pattern to the exhalation, a temperature to the exhalation? Recognize that even when you're not actively engaged in directing the breath, the body is still being breathed. The breath is ever present, moving in, moving out. Something you share with all. Throughout time. Let the body continue to be upright but soft and relaxed, feeling very light. in both ways. Light as in not heavy, not weighted, and light in an inner glowing, or radiating, shining. If you're breathing deeply, let the breath become more relaxed and flowing on its own, but still focused upon that, what it feels like, how it's moving. As the mind becomes one-pointed, focusing here on the breath, it may become quite still, and as it does, the breath too will become quite still. If your attention is distracted or wavers from the breath, then deepen your breath so that it's easy to watch and pay attention to. So please make note of what this is like, how this meditating has impacted the way you're viewing things, your state of consciousness. And embrace this. Stay with this, even as you pay attention to the things we'll be talking about next. Do it from this meditative place. You don't need to leave this. You can function, operate in the meditative way. Okay. I'd like to talk with you a little bit about some of the challenges that come up when we're committing ourselves to a regular daily practice, which is how you want to meditate. You really want to meditate every single day. How much time you spend in meditation is not the issue, but meditating regularly, daily, is an issue, and it will really benefit you, and it will make your meditation practice how you are, part of how you operate in general. So, remember, meditate every day for at least 1 minute. If you can, meditate twice a day, again, for at least 1 minute, not only 1 minute, but at least. Some of the challenges that we face, there are a lot of them. It could be, we've talked before about the gunas. We could be in a rajasic place, and we're just really busy and antsy and think of all the things we have to do and things that have happened, or someone said something to us and we're all stirred up about that. We could be in a rajasic way. That gets in the way of our meditation practice. Or we could be in a tamasic way. We're tired, lethargic, don't want to bother with this. It doesn't make sense for us. Again, we talked about using breathing practices and chanting mantra japa to, not mantra japa, but basically just chanting like a kirtan in a way. Ram, 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 to lift yourself out of the lethargy or settle down from the busyness. That's something you can do. We also mentioned you can adjust your diet, and that too can help to put you in a more sattvic way, both what you eat and how you eat. But there's some other issues too. Sometimes when you sit down to meditate and you want to focus on your object of meditation, and so far we've been talking about the breath, either watching it or listening to it, but there are many other objects we'll talk about which you might choose and settle on as what you focus upon when you sit to meditate, but you sit and you're starting your meditation practice, and you may find that there's just some issues that come up, some problems that have been active, some things you've been trying to resolve or solve or address in your life, and you're sitting down and you're trying to focus on that, and these objects, whatever it is, comes to your mind and it just won't leave. So here's 3 things you can do. The first thing is you just try to ignore it and go back to focusing on what you focus upon. And you may find that that works. Just sort of push it aside and focus on what you focus on. But you may find that when you push it aside, it comes back. And it really won't leave your mind alone. It's right there. It's in your face. You sort of have to deal with this. So then you acknowledge it. You don't ignore it. You acknowledge, say, I see, yes, this really is something I want to address. This is something that I need to deal with. You say, but I'm going to meditate now for 10 minutes, and right after my meditation, I'll deal with this. So I'm going to put you aside for 10 minutes, and then I'll work with you, okay? You'll be surprised. That often will work for you. That often will work very well. Sometimes that won't work. It really won't. Sometimes it won't work and it says, no, this is, you got to deal with me. You got to address me. Then you do that. You take a minute and says, okay, I'm going to take a few minutes with you now and I'll give you my attention, and then I'm going to focus and I'll come back to you later. You'll be surprised how effectively each one of these can work in such a situation. So remember that. First, try ignoring it. Secondly, if it won't let you ignore it, acknowledge it and just say, I will address you. I'll give you my full attention right when I'm done with my meditation. And if that won't work, then say, okay, I'm going to give you a couple minutes now, and then I'll meditate, and you give it some attention up front. That will work. It really will. But start with ignoring it. Only move through those if you need to, the others. Now, another issue that will come up sometimes for us is we go through waves of things and circumstances, astrological influences and life issues that come up, and we may find ourselves when we're sitting to meditate in a kind of blue or sad or down or depressed state, which is obviously, you don't want to feel like that and give that kind of atmosphere your attention. You don't want to spend time like that and enhance it. So what can you do to move out of that? You might try the chanting we were talking about earlier. That really does work, and it might work for that. Something else you might do is you might get up and go take a cold shower, or you might get up and just put on some music if it's at a time of day when music's not going to disturb others, and dance. Get up and move around and dance and loosen up. Even if you don't feel like dancing because you're feeling kind of blue, force yourself to. You'll be surprised how if you do that activity and movement, it will just break you free of that, and then you can sit down and get still for your meditation. It really works beautifully. Those are nice issues that can be addressed in these ways when you're facing meditation. So, another issue which comes up, which is kind of surprising for people, but it's important to notice this, that sometimes if you're getting steady in your meditation practice, you're meditating every day for those 2 times a day, and you're staying focused on what your object of meditation is, and you're getting into it, and it's starting to work for you. You're starting to have some real sweet experiences. and you're starting to settle in nicely, and it seems to be getting better and working more. You may be shocked sometime that you're doing that, and all of a sudden you find yourself completely disoriented. Your whole grounded way of existence is gone. You don't have anything. You find yourself just kind of lost and afraid because you've lost touch with what you've been familiar with. So, a couple things about that. One is, remember, when you're meditating, part of what you're doing is you're trying to disengage from those things, and now you've just succeeded and found yourself without any ties. So it's true, you're not grounded, you don't have the stability and security that you had, and you're in a place that's unfamiliar, but address it like it's fun and you're free. And now you're able to explore whole new realms. Now that means that when you're starting your meditation, it's useful to perhaps go to, if you have a teacher or guru or a faith in a deity or through a deity in the divine, that you just start your meditation, say, oh, beloved guru, beloved God, beloved goddess, oh divinity, oh nature, whatever you feel comfortable with, I'm going to meditate now to come into the fullness of my being, to experience everything and be myself in fullness. And I want your help, and I want your protection and your guidance. And then start your meditation. You'll be surprised how that will just completely do away with, even if you come up to a fearful moment, you'll remember that and you'll know you're really not alone. The divine is here with you and guiding you and protecting you, and you'll be fine. And it's nice to start your meditations with such a prayer and acknowledgement. It really works well. And you can ask for guidance too, because when you start meditating, the realms which open up to you are phenomenal. They're beautiful. As you may have heard from many scriptures of different faiths say the exact same thing. The kingdom of heaven is within. The kingdom of heaven is within you. So when you move within, you find these realms that you've not been engaging with, and now you have a whole new fullness to your life. It's very beautiful. Once again, get settled. We'll take a few more breaths and get still before we do a closing here. So, go ahead. Ask the divine to be with you, to guide you, to protect you. Take in a breath for Om. Thank you for meditating. It not only serves you, it serves all being. Your meditating serves everyone, everything. Please keep it up, and it serves you too. Om Asatoma Sadgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityormamritam gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Lead us from unreal to real. Lead us from darkness to the light. Lead us from the fear of death to knowledge of immortality. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Bless all dimensions of being with peace and joy, love and light. Victory to that light of truth which overcomes all darkness. Victory to that light. Jai Shri Sadguru Maharaj Ki Jai. Hari Om Tat Sat Om Shanti.